Hello and welcome back everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna continue the story What If Naruto Was Trained by Kaguya Part 4. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
The Raikage's office is in Kumagakyur. I the Fourth was laughing because he and B never left Kumo. Instead, they made lightning-style shadow clones to take their places during the exams. Then, one of I's spies on Konoha told him that I will finally have a Kushina clone for his sexual needs, which not even Mabui could satisfy because Uzumaki girls are good enough for his tastes. Since B stayed on Turtle Island for some reason, I thought to himself, think of what I could do to a Kushina clone and how cool it would be to finally learn the jutsu that can kill an entire army in minutes. Konoha, as Root-nin took Narumi and Hanabi to a bunker to keep them safe, she didn't know that she was sending them to Kumo to help Minato and I finish the deal. Hanabi asked, "Where are you taking us?" She thought it was strange that her father hadn't told her as the two Root-nin made a portal to Uzu. One of the Root-nin said, "That's what they told us to do. Go somewhere safe. Use a Shiogakure. At least use a Shiogakure is doing better than before. With the help of magic from the elf girls, it has become more modern than the rest of the elementals nations and has more kinds of people living there. At the HQ of the Black Sun, the portal opens. So this is my niece and her Hyuga friend, as I was told," Yujito said as she hugged Narumi. When Matatabi saw the scene, she shed a tear of happiness. "Who are you, MS?" Naruto asked her aunt when she first met her. "Well, dear, my name is Yujito Otsutsuki, and I'm your aunt," Yujito told her. Narumi asked, "Aunt, my old parents never told me I had an aunt named Yujito." "That's because they're not your real parents," a voice from the shadows said as Naruto, Satsuki, and Katsumi came out. "Satsuki ni, Tatsumi ni, you're alive," she yelled at Satsuki and Katsumi while they were hugging her. Then she saw Naruto. "Who are you?" she asked him since she never seen anyone with black sclere before but sensed the man's chakra that it was familiar to her even with a darkness more so powerful than Madara and Orochimaru combined, but to her she feels warmth on those eyes until saw the spiky black hair and deducted on who he is. "Naruto," she asked him as he nodded. "Baka," she shouted at him as she kicked Naruto on his balls as he made a shocked face. Inside Naruto's mind, Kaguya copied the same reaction of Naruto. Outside, Naruto fell to the ground because his balls had been kicked. "We faked our deaths, so I deserved it. Someone give me some ice," Naruto said briefly in pain as Katsumi made his ice pack for his balls. "I don't get. How could that hurt him since he can take multiples 10-tailed beast bomb without a scratch?" Chomai asked because all of them had built up pain resistance to the point where they could take a direct hit from an expansive truth-seeking ball or all-killing ash bones without dying. And if they turned to ashes, they would instantly come back to life. It's funny because Naruto let his guard down for Narumi, but they shouldn't tell Konoha who they are yet, Isabu said, and Chomai got it. "Who are my real parents if they aren't these people?" As Rin came into view, Narumi asked, "Please give your mom a hug, Narumi." As Narumi stood there, Rin said, "Who then is my father?" She asked him again as he pointed at himself and waited for Narumi's answer. "What?" She said this as Shukaku used a camera to take a picture of her reaction. "Huh?" He said this as he stormed off to his room, and everyone was shocked to see that both of her eyes had turned black and had hypnotic red swirls on them. "It's impossible. I've only ever seen those eyes on Indra," Katsumi said, shocking everyone. "Mom, Dad." As both of them tried to calm Narumi down, she cried. "Are you calm now, Narumi?" Naruto asked his daughter, who nodded while still showing him M's. "If you were all still alive, what had you been up to?" she asked as Naruto told her and Hanabi everything, including how they were going to destroy the shinobi system and start over by taking the chakra of most of the people. This surprised both girls, but they were sold to Kumo because it was their fault that they were low on bloodline clans. I the Third had his shinobi eat Juki's tentacles to make it look like Jinkaku, and Kinkaku were pseudo-Jinchurikis. But he didn't tell them that only Kaguya's descendants can at least contain tailed beast chakra. For anyone else, it's a slow death without. Naruto said, "Remind me to find Madara's body to fully bring Kaguya back to life." "If he's dead," Satsuki said, "he could already be alive, reborn, and hiding somewhere else because he used his Inagi and has multiple Sharingan eyes that can immediately turn into his M's because it was put into his DNA before his first death. Why look for his corpse?" Hanabi was afraid to ask because the older people had told her scary stories about the infamous Uchiha clan head and how he started the shinobi system. Because he is the only one known to have the basic Rinnegan, which makes him almost like Hagoromo. This makes him a good vessel to fully revive Kaguya, and he was the one who called the demonic statue of the outer path from the moon. he said, pointing to his stomach where his seal used to be. The ghost of Kaguya saluted them and said that Narumi packs a powerful punch, which made Narumi blush. I want to ask you something. Who are those two root nins that brought us here? Hanabi pointed to the two root nins and asked. You can stop changing now, Naruto said, and they both did, revealing Yakumo and Ido with their own bodies. Yakumo's hair is white and her skin is a little tanned, but Ido's eyes are still cat-like. Surprise, Yakumo and Ido said in unison, surprising both Narumi and Hanabi. I had no idea that Yakumo had a twin, Narumi said. Ido replied, before Naruto and Irene gave me a proper body for myself, I was her darkness and held her powers. I owe them a lot. But don't kill my friend's dad, or even my boyfriend, Narumi said as the girls leaned in. Has Narumi found a boyfriend? Who is it, then? Naruto asked his son. It's Konohamaru Sarutobi, or Maru as he calls himself, Narumi said as Naruto smiled with a lot of killer intent that made a certain Ten Tails from a far-off realm piss itself, while Ishiki was confused because Ten Tails don't drink liquids. Everyone who got close to Naruto knew that her daughter's boyfriend is the grandson of the man who let Danzo live even though he tried to kill him. The third Hokage wouldn't do that, does he? Narumi asked because Maru doesn't know the answer. Narumi comes to mind. Do you really want to know who first killed Uzu? Katsumi said. Naruto told Katsumi, every village, even Konoha, betrayed us when they sold us so they could have full control. This shocked her to the core, since her own village had sold out a clan that had never hurt anyone. Not even during the clan wars, because they were afraid of our sealing arts as Satsuki, Katsumi, and Rin tried to calm Naruto down. He said something angry. But you really want to know something else? Minato still ordered the massacre of the Uchiha clan, knew the truth about the Uzumaki clan, made Kushina clones to sell to the higher-ups, and also wanted to massacre the Hyuga clan. But they won't bother since they'll do it to themselves in the end, Naruto said as both girls felt sick. What happened to you, Naruto-kun? Hanabi asked. We learned the truth, Hanabi, as your sister is kind but foolish, that she is trying to unite the Hyuga clan, but it will be in vain since she deliberately squandered her own potential for you, Hanabi, because she is protecting you from the caged bird seal. That the elders once again sold a member to Kumo, and guess what? It was your mother Hitomi, who is alive in Kumagakure. Why does she needs to unite her clan that the branch family has so much bad blood towards the main branch for generations of enslavement, from using our own seals to tinker to make it seem that is a Hyuga seal? It all started with Hashirama authorizing the caged bird seal to the branch family so that the Hyuga clan joined Konoha. It was never because they were cousins clans, is because he wanted the Senju to be the sole rulers of the whole elemental nations. Naruto said as she gave her a file about their mother. Hanabi asked, can you help us save her? Because she wants to meet her mother, whom she thought had died. Naruto told Hanabi, I'm sorry, but you're still too young and mostly rely on the Byakugan. You need to train your Tenseigan and have more variety, but you need to grow your body to handle the Tenseigan's power. This can be solved by using my pocket dimension that we use to train and can change your age, but you need to be mentally ready for it. Narumi asked Naruto, who was grinning, if Kumo wants us, who can take our places? Naruto looked at Delta and Ada and said, way ahead of you two. He then changed into exact copies of Narumi and Hanabi. Narumi was focused on Mikoto and Kushina, and she wanted to strangle Kushina with her chains until Naruto snapped his fingers and made Narumi's chains disappear into her. Narumi yelled at him, what was that for and how did you do that? No one has ever been able to stop the adamantine sealing chains with a snap of the fingers. Naruto said, that's the real Kushina. And she's also one of my lovers, as Hanabi got a nosebleed and put her sad hand on her chest. Plus, Hanabi, you'll be safe here in Uzu because Tonri can't get your eyes without making a death wish, Naruto said. Hey, what? Hanabi said. I said nothing. Naruto said that he was thinking about making Tonri, who is blind, dig his own grave with a sign that said, here lies Tonri Otsutsuki, the puppet fucker. He looked at Narumi's M's and had an idea. Hey, Narumi, can you put more chakra in your eyes? Naruto asked. Why? She did. Just to check something, he told her as she used her chakra to make her eyes purple and ringed with 6 tomos. Wait a minute. When did Narumi get those eyes? Satsuki asked her. Which ones? She said this while Naruto made a mirror to look at her face. When she saw them, she gasped. I've got the Rinnegan, Narumi said as Kaguya appeared. Not exactly, but a better version. You've had the Tomoed Rinnegan since birth because you have Senju, Uzumaki, and Uchiha DNA, but you needed a push. With enough training, you'll have the Rin Sharingan like us. When did you first notice that you could see better than you had before? Kaguya asked. The day I thought Naruto, Satsuki, and Katsumi had died, she said gravely. Naruto, Satsuki, and Katsumi felt bad as Kaguya went on. That means you can use the Rinnegan and Sharingan at the same time. But the difference between the Rin Sharingan and the Tomoed Rinnegan is that you can't bring a dimension to you or create one like Naruto and Satsuki can, Kaguya said as Naruto and Satsuki showed them their Rin Sharingan. Hanabi was scared because Naruto and Satsuki can put anyone into a genjutsu without them. Check this out, Hanabi, Naruto said as he and Satsuki changed their eyes into the Tenseigan, complete with the chakra cloak, which amazed her. Narumi said, Hanabi, those are the same eyes Hinata showed us at the hospital, which surprised them. That settles it, since Hayashi and Hinata think you're going to Kumo while Ada and Delta take your places and go with Kushina, Makoto, Matatabi, and Yujiro to take care of business. Our plan is to get Juki from the real Killer Bee and destroy Kumo in the process. Then you can go back to Konoha until the invasion, which will be a fake death for you and your friends, Naruto said with a big grin on his face. Don't worry about Hinata. We have something for her and 2 other people to do, Naruto said in a threatening way. Someplace in Konoha, various ghostly beings could be seen. One was a solid 8 feet tall with beautiful pale skin that shines in the sun, long flowing black hair that reached down to her waist, long and luscious arms and legs, enormous full M-cup breasts that don't even sag, a very slim waist, wide curvy hips, and a soft rear. This was Hakishaku, also known as the 8 feet tall woman. She had killed several children who had messed with Naruto, especially Hibachi, a cute girl with short dark purple hair styled in a bob cut and held back with a red headband. She has mauve irises and purple pupils in her eyes and pale white skin. She wears a white blouse under a red skirt with suspenders, white socks with red tips, and white shoes with red tips on the toes. This is Hanako-san from the toilet, and like Hakishaku, she has killed a few civilians. When Naruto was, one was an anthropomorphic rabbit. She has brown fur, long mint green hair in a ponytail, bunny ears of the same fur color with dark green insides, and red eyes. She wears a black collared leotard shirt, black sleeves, and black boots with red string. She also wears shorts and a red belt with a rabbit face on the buckle. She holds cards in her right hand. This is Agent Spect hair. She has turquoise eyes and long, dark blue hair with frosted tips that she wears up with the glacial clip in a way that looks like a tiara. She is usually floating in the air. This is Blizzaria, a pale yokai with bright purple eyes who floats in the air. She has long dark purple hair with indigo tips, pulled into a ponytail with a black glacial clip. She wears a black robe with gray snow print on the bottom edges and a dark pink band that goes around the waist with a bow on the back. Her toed sandals are black with raspberry-colored straps. Insomni is a woman with pale purple skin, one red eye with pale blue eye shadow, and a single stripe of navy blue across her face. Her long white hair is styled into 2 large horns on top of her head and held in place by navy blue ribbon. She wears a navy blue top with a golden waistband that connects to a gold sash around her shoulders, and her bottom half is navy blue with a golden flame at the end. She is a white-skinned yokai with a single turquoise eye with pale pink eye shadow, and a dark indigo stripe with a yellow iris. Her long, dark pink hair is worn in 2 large horns on top of her head, held by a black ribbon. She wears a dark purple dress with pale pink and blue material wrapping around her torso. There is a pale pink flame at the end of her tail. Sandy is Insomni's twin sister, a girl who looks like a centaur-like sphinx. Her lower body is that of a large cat, but instead of a cat head, a humanoid upper body is connected to its chest. Her cat half has black fur, blue claws, 2 blue wings, and 2 tails with yellow wisps on them. Her humanoid half has blue hair, and 2 black cat ears on top of its head. She also has cat-like fangs, and big hands with more. They protected Naruto from the shadows like Yugao did, but he thinks they are his imaginary friends. Hanako-san said, I thought I felt that Naruto was in the village, as they went to Satsuki's old apartment, which was empty of Satsuki's things. Myrmidona said with worry, maybe he really did die. Hakishaku said, that's impossible because he has the soul of the 9 tails. If he really died, so did Arashi and Menma because of the Reaper seal, unless the fox tries to heal their wounds. Then we'll just have to wait for him to find out, Smigmella said with a sad face as they split up. On the way to Kumagakure, as Yujiro took Narumi, Hanabi, Kushina, Makoto, and Matatabi to Kumo, ANBU arrived and saw Yujiro with a sealing scroll with the jutsus that I had ordered, along with the current Hyuga heir and Uzumaki heiress, a Uchiha woman, and the Kushina Uzumaki. One of the Kumo ANBU said, the Raikage would be happy about this, but didn't notice the girl's sinister smiles. The office of Raikage. I'm the Raikage, and I'm healthy and strong. I live in a village on the whale's back. That's not a bad joke, it's a whale of a village. This good-looking guy owns and runs it. Who is the most amazing person? The hidden ANBU squad said, I, Rakage. I scare everything on land and sea. But when it comes to women, they all want me. I go on adventures wherever I find them. I don't want to brag, but I've been around for a while. Who is the most amazing and unique kind of person? The hidden ANBU squad said, I, Rakage. I took these diamonds from Ruchai Cave. With one dirty look, I got rid of those snakes. Now look at this huge, powerful monster. He would scare two tails, but he's just my helper. I thought it was fun to catch Bula. Whoever said that having two heads was better than having one? Ha ha. Who is the most amazing person? The hidden ANBU squad said, You, Rakage. I came across this on one of my trips. That was a thrill I wouldn't want to miss. When he spread his wings, the sun went down. He picked me up, but I ran away with him. Who is the most amazing person? The hidden ANBU squad said, I, Rakage. Who is the most amazing and unique kind of person? The hidden ANBU squad said, I, Rakage. I have nothing to worry about. All I say is boo, and my enemies run. Who is the most amazing person? I was talking when he heard a knock on the door and saw ANBU. He glared at Yujito as she brought Narumi, Hanabi, Kushina, and Mikoto to his office, but Yujito didn't care about their looks and brought them in. Most of his attention was on Kushina and Mikoto. I looked at the picture of his father, I the third, and thought to himself, if my pops were here, he would be so proud of me. ANBU, take the two heirs to a safe place so I can focus on important things. I told his ANBU as they took the two heirs and Yujito out of the office. I put noise-blocking seals in his office so no one would bother him as he took off his shirt to get to work. He snapped his fingers to make Kushina and Mikoto think they were clones, which made Kushina laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Kushina laughed as she punched Ai in the stomach so hard that he broke his desk while he tried to control her and Miko. You pay for that, you dumb skank. As they yawned, I yelled at them. You think that can keep us in line? You're still a pathetic excuse for a cage, Kushina said as she showed him her Tomo Rinnegan. He used his lightning chakra cloak to attack Kushina until she disappeared in a red flash. She then stepped on Ai's head to stop his cloak. He was scared because Kushina was faster than him, and he hadn't even had time to blink. This woman was so fast, and she wasn't even using a flying thunder god kunai. How can you move faster than the yellow flash? He asked out of fear, since she wasn't attacking with the flying thunder god jutsu or even hand seals. You think that the person who gave the sperm made the jutsu? Huh, I made Tabarama Senju and Mito Uzumaki's formula for sealing better because my true love made it perfect. And guess what? It doesn't even need chakra. I know that, and I don't want you to ever find out. Kushina told him this while he was shaking and trying to call his ANBU, but nothing happened. While the hidden ANBU were there, Mikoto used her astral chakra chains, which pierce the soul like the Reaper seal but don't call on any part of the Shinigami. It works to completely paralyze the opponent and suppress their chakra at the same time, killing them instantly as Mikoto kills them with her pink lightning-covered ninjato and a smile that would make Madara Uchiha proud. The dance they did was terrible, Mikoto said as the ANBU stood there watching their pieces fall off as she burned them, and I watched Kushina use her Tomo Rinnegan to send Ai to her Kamui dimension. Elsewhere, said Uchiha was looking at a sad old picture of himself and his two best friends until he sneezed, at which point he felt proud that he still had a legacy. Why did you have to listen to Tabarama when you knew I liked Mito? He told the picture of a young Madara with Hashirama and Mito that he could feel a strong Uchiha. The ghost of the Uchiha clan said with a smile and a tear in his eye, maybe a Uchiha can actually find true happiness. He didn't know that Black Zetsu, who had black pupils, was there when he was looking at the old Uchiha and thinking about how to save his mother Kaguya. He couldn't tell Asura that because Asura would have killed him. And he couldn't tell Asura that all the transmigrants were the same gender until Naruto, and Satsuki changed the Uchiha stone tablet so that someone could read the truth of Kaguya's warning about sharing chakra. As he mayflied to use a Shiogakure to ask Irene for help, he told himself, I need to fix this for my mother and father. Back in Kumo, Kushina told Miko, her best friend and harem sister, your Uchiha Dojutsu is very useful. At least I was one of the lucky ones who was able to control my emotions and barely used mine, Mikoto said as Kushina looked at Ai. She showed her M's, which looks like a flower with 16 petals that change into the Tomo Rinnegan. I still remembered when you tried to kidnap me for real to rape me when I was young. But Mikoto and some trustworthy Uchiha members saved me in time when she sensed me. For so long, I wanted to get back at you in your village, but my Kushina said, dear, my ex-husband stopped me when I had had enough. This made Mikoto excited, and Ai peed himself out of fear that she still remembered. Kushina pointed at Ai and said, oh yeah, we forgot about him. Kushina flips Ai over onto his back, ripping his gym shorts as she uses her chains as tweezers to grab his pencil-sized dick. She forms another set of chains into an unknown object with many razor teeth as Ai's screams can be heard all over the village. What are Naruto, Satsuki, and Katsumi doing right now? Kushina wanted to know. In the meantime, in Konoha, while Naruto, Satsuki, and Katsumi were planning to kill Koharu Udatane and Hamura Mikitado, which was easy because they used senbons to quickly and undetectedly paralyze the ANBU agents stationed at their homes, while Naruto and Satsuki used their human paths to absorb their souls and memories and learn decades of information. Naruto said, "Knowledge is power, just like hard work is," and Satsuki smiled, showing that there is still good in Naruto. They then sealed the bodies for later use and burned the ANBU present. Both of them went to Naruto's old house and found a hidden room with 6 women in it. Mabui was Ai's former secretary, and the other 5 girls were from the Dark Continent. When they saw Naruto, Satsuki, and Katsumi, he told the 6 girls to go to sleep and put them in his Yamatsu Hirasaka with his Rin Sharingan to send them to Uzu, where they made exploding Klo. Katsumi said with a smile, "These girls will be able to fight for us and become our mistresses." They knew that Naruto's strength was higher than a god's high rank, if that was even possible. As soon as the job was done, they used teleportation to go to Yuzushiagakure and see if Isabu had found Shisui's body in the water. Humagakure's General Hospital. Shizune Kato and her apprentice Akino are not happy that someone is killing Kumo nins left and right, even though Tsunade sold her to the Raikage to pay off a debt she owed him years ago. However, they will be glad if someone puts the Raikage in his place. Akino is a beautiful young woman with long black hair and violet eyes. She usually wears her hair in a long ponytail that goes all the way down to her legs and is held in place with an orange ribbon. She might not use chakra, but she has something better than chakra. Hitomi Hyuga was very broken in mind and body from being used as a fuck toy by ANBU and Raikage. She was the former wife of Hayashi Hyuga, but the Hyuga elders sold her to Kumo after the birth of Hanabi so they could make Hanabi into their ideal Hyuga clan head. A cold, stern woman with a huge stick up her ass ever since Hinata became kind to those below her but couldn't brand. When Black Sun walked into the room where Shizune, Akino, and Hitomi were, Kushina saw that Shizune was still alive. "Shizune, you've been around this whole time?" Kushina asked the shinobi with a bigger chest than Tsunade's saggy tits whose red lipstick she was wearing. Artoria Pendragon, Artoria, Mordred, Mysterious Heroine X, Mysterious Heroine X, Mysterious Heroine 20, Mysterious Idol X, Morgan Le Fay, Nero Claudius, Minamoto no Reiku, Jean. These women are from the part of the Dark Continent that Kumo invaded. They were the only ones to survive the Kumo massacre, except for Shizune and Akino, who were in the hospital. Hitomi Hyuga was Hanabi's mother, but she never knew her. When she was growing up, she heard whispers of her own clan calling her mother a murderer, which made her agree to train to become clan head to prove her strength. However, she knew that Neji. "What do you want to say? I've been on this village since Tsunade gave me to Ai to pay off a bet she made with him. She used Shizune's money, which her uncle Dan gave her according to his will, but Tsunade never gave her any money back because that money belonged to Shizune and not her. Shizune told them, which made Kushina angry because Tsunade was part Uzumaki from her aunt Maido's side, which is the same as an Otsutsuki committing treason, which is punishable by death. However, they have a plan for Tsunade, which is to take everything from her, make her suffer, and then kill her if they feel like it. "Who are these people, teacher?" Akino asked Mikoto until she heard her voice and felt like she knew her. "Akino? Who's that?" Mikoto asked her long-lost daughter, who she thought had died when she was born. "Damn you Tsunade, you drunken disgrace of an Uzumaki," Mikoto yelled when her memories of Akino came back, as if someone had put a block on her memory. "Akino is your daughter?" Yujiro asked if she had met her before because, besides Shizune, she is the most trustworthy doctor. Even Matatabi trusts her, which is saying something if Akino is a Uchiha. They didn't know that the Shinigami was watching them, but he was, as the team sent by Black Sun killed Kumo on their way to find Killer Bee, get Juki out of him, and get Kushina's revenge on him for getting Minato to help him make the 8 trigrams seal. They did the deed. Kushina's Kamui dimension. As I stood on a platform with no arms or legs, he thought about what had happened. In his mind, Minato had betrayed him by sending fakes to get him to relax his guard. His village was in ruins and on fire, and he couldn't do anything from here. I said to himself, damn those Uzumaki, while he was tied down with chakra chains and getting tired because his chakra was being stifled by the chains. Turtle Island is a place where turtles live. As they flew toward Turtle Island, they fried the giant squid to kill it right away. When they got to the Falls of Truth, they killed the giant squid. Natatabi said, "Damn it, he hid himself in the temple behind the Falls of Truth. Why can't we just walk in and take Juki away from him?" Kushina asked. "Not quite," Yujiro said as everyone looked at Kushina. "The water would keep you from going into the temple because you need to face your darkness there." "Me?" Kushina asked. "Well, you're the only one who doesn't have a clear mind and hasn't fully accepted herself," Mikoto said, speaking from experience since she has had the M's longer than they have and has been using it in secret for years now that her daughter Satsuki has given her the Talmud Rinnegan. "Why me? I don't dislike anyone." Mikoto raised an eyebrow and pointed at Kushina's stomach as she spoke. Natatabi said, "You were Katsumi's container because you had never used her power before. But you were still hated because you were an islander like Mito. But Mito's was well kept because she was Hashirama's wife." He said this because even when Hashirama's wood style put them to sleep, they could still hear them talking, especially Katsumi, who could use her emotions sensing even though she was unconscious most of the time inside Mito. "What do I have to do?" Kushina asked Yujiro. Yujiro told Kushina, "First, you need to meditate on the rock until mist appears, and then you'll know what to do." Kushina water walked into the rock and meditated as another Kushina with red eyes that had no pupils and black sclere came out of the waterfall. Well, if it's not Tomato Face, I guess she's still the same impulsive girl she's been for years. Dark Kushina teased her light half while Kushina looked at her. "Are you happy with what you did to my queen? You were too weak and stupid to see the truth, so you cursed Naruto to be hated even by our own children and by the village that helped destroy our clan." Dark Kushina said, "If you understand why, can we do this quickly?" Kushina asked as Dark Kushina's tick mark grew, but she kept her cool. "This is why I hate you, my queen. Even though you are one of the Uzumaki princesses, you always jump to conclusions, which isn't like a seal master, who needs to be patient to do a good job. But no, you had to use that Senju scum's forsaken 8 trigram seal to turn Naruto into a Jinchuriki against his will, unlike you and Mito. You could have used the old seals to keep Katsumi inside Naruto, and befriended her instead of using her chakra against her will like Minato wanted. Instead, you listened to the village instead of your heart when Mito told you to fill it with love when people talk about having chakra. But you really wanted to know why Mikoto joined the coup because she wanted to raise Naruto with Satsuki. But Minato gave Itachi the order to kill the Uchiha clan, just like his grandfather Tobirama wanted. Tobirama must have been having an orgasm in the afterlife because one of the clan's own killed them all. Dark Kushina yelled. And Kushina actually knew what her darkness meant. You begged Minato not to curse your children to become Jinchuriki, but he didn't listen because he gave you one fucking kiss, and you were in his control, just like the rest of the villagers. Even though you knew this, you still fell for the Senju's fascist propaganda about the will of fire. As he said, the village comes first and family comes last. Dark Kushina told her, with venom in her voice, that she should think about the villages in a different way. Because they killed my family, I did everything I could to protect the village. However, I soon learned that Konoha doesn't care about anyone unless they get something in return. She never wanted to curse Naruto, who was the only child who knew the Uzumaki creed by heart. She would have taken Katsumi to her grave for a short time. But then she decided it wasn't worth it and decided to help Naruto the rest of the way. Kushina said this as her dark half put her hand on Kushina's shoulder to make her feel better. "I know I'm your darkness, but I care about you even if you didn't know it because I was there for you when you were hurting, lonely, and angry. As long as you stay with Naruto the whole time and show the world what happens when they mess with a real Uzumaki or Otsutsuki, that's fine. Don't forget what Mito said about finding your true love, which might be the man who really helped you get away from your real family. If you know what I mean." Dark Kushina said that she is part of Kushina, but the real Kushina blushed when she realized who her dark half was talking about. Kushina told her dark half, who was hugging her, that she was sorry that her dark half had to carry such a heavy load for her. "Don't worry about it. You needed someone to keep you in check, show you the way, and keep you from going crazy. Also, we are Uzumaki, which is just another name for the Otsutsuki clan. Naruto and Mikoto love you with all their hearts, which is different from Minato. I know you want to be with Naruto and Mikoto in a group of 3. Dark Kushina said this in an honest way because she can't lie to herself. Kushina blushed when the idea of a threesome with her best friend and her son, lover Naruto was brought up, and they fist bumped each other with their right hands. Dark Kushina said, "Family comes before pride, and family comes before fame. This is the Uzumaki creed. Family comes first. Family comes first." Both were done, and her dark half turned into gold particles that merged into Kushina. She felt complete as the fog lifted and her eyes changed into Talmud Rinnegan. Everyone cheered that she had finally accepted her darkness, and Mikoto kissed and hugged her, making them blush. Suddenly, a white Susanoo arm and a golden arm grabbed them and pulled them into the water. Everyone was shocked as they went into the hidden temple. Place not known. What do we do? Mikoto asked. This is Limbo. As a man that Mikoto recognized as her ex-husband, that it was an arranged marriage against her will after her family died in war because Mikoto, despite being younger than him, was more powerful than him without even using her M's, who was foolish to agree with the cowardly Yashiro Uchiha to plan a coup when Obito gave him information to encourage the coup and made her choose despite telling her reason of the coup so that Minato would use. Mikoto strangled Fugaku with her astral chakra chains until a hand touched her and stopped her. She then jumped and saw the last Senju clan head before the hidden villages Butsuma Senju were built. He also has a wood style. Kushina asked because they thought wood style was a mutation. But they had seen Pamela, Ajaha, and her daughter Kirumu use it too, just like the rest of Black Sun. What's the point? Mikoto asked. Well, that's because you were the last Indra and Asura immigrants before your children, Tajima Uchiha told Izuna and his brothers, who were standing next to him. We were their people who moved. However, Kushina asked, after Indra and Asura died, they stayed in limbo because their chakra kept going in the same direction. Each descendant of both had a bit of their chakra until they found a champion, and the only way to stop it is to die, unless they used a way to cheat death like Izanagi, or another way to break the influence of the transmigrant cycle. After Madara died the second time, Indra's chakra went into you, Mikoto, and Asura's chakra went into Kushina. Both of you almost died, and then the chakras went into Naruto and Satsuki until someone freed Naruto and Satsuki from their influence, and the brothers' chakras went back to their original bodies as usual. Fugaku explained things in a harsh way, which made him feel bad and make him want to be a better parent, especially to Satsuki. Where are Hashirama, Tabarama, and Madara if you are all here? Kushina asked. Izuna said, worried about his brother. We don't know because Hashirama and Tabarama were here and then left. And Madara was never here to begin with. Kushina said, imperfect resurrection of the world. What? Butsuma said angrily that one of his sons would be greedy enough to upset the balance of life and death. Kushina told everyone with a gasp, it's a summoning technique that Tabarama and Mito made together to bring back to life dead people who didn't die of natural causes. The summoner needs the DNA of the person they want to bring back to life and control. How dare he make such a horrible thing because he thought he was like my father? Someone said. What did they say? Everyone was pointing at two people in white robes who were looking at a bonfire. One of them had a swirling Mangekyo Sharingan, and the other had floating truth-seeking balls behind him. These are Indra and Asura Otsususuke, who started the Indra, Uchiha, and Asura Senju clans, respectively. Grandpa Asura. The Uchiha and Senju members were surprised by Kushina's question as she went to hug Asura. Is that your granddaughter, brother? Indra asked because she looked too young, and he covered his head with a paper bag. Remember Irene? Asura spoke as a sad-looking Indra looked away. I always knew that Hashirama should have killed his brother, but he didn't, and look what happened, Izuna said angrily. Being in limbo made him realize that there was no such thing as the curse of hatred. It was just an idea because a Uchiha can never find true happiness because the Sage of Six Paths favors one of his sons, just like everyone likes the Senju clan. Even their wives were staring at their husbands as if they had the Byakugan and were looking at their husbands' souls or ectoplasm. Butsuma and Tajima were afraid that they had somehow soiled themselves because they treated Hashirama and Madara badly when all they wanted was peace and equality. Soft Light, Super Paper Mario, http://www.youtube.com/watch3a. Let us tell you our story from our point of view, Indra said to everyone who had gathered around him and Asura as they told the story of their childhood. Since their mother had died, Indra had to raise Asura on his own while Hagoromo worked on spreading ninchu. Indra had to grow up fast and give up his own happiness so that Asura could have a childhood. He had to give up his own happiness until the day he made a small flame in his youth and realized that people would. As time goes on, Hagoromo's choice of me to carry on Ninchu's legacy has made me blind to my brother's arguments because I chose to help people over my own family. It was a mistake, and I was scared of it for hundreds of years in limbo, Asura said. When I saw Irene for the last time, I told her to find people she can trust and go far away before I went to fight Asura. Someone had told him and Hagoromo that I killed people for power, which was bad for my reputation. As I fought Asura and he beat me, I was proud of him. But as he got older, he got weaker and realized that the Six Paths chakra was killing him slowly. Hagoromo never told us that a human could die from using that kind of chakra too much. Indra said this was shocking to everyone except Kushina, who already knew about it. Kushina and her family are now pure Otsutsuki, so 6 paths in Tenseigen mode won't kill them because they are immortal. The question is who would be so evil as to spread lies about the creator of hand seals and turn ninjutsu into violence and bloodshed. The people thought I was a tyrant who only used power to rule, so I banished myself to Turtle Island. The Nine-Tails saw and sensed my emotions and thought I was a threat. I decided to die to meet my brother, but at the last second, I saw a monk staring at me before the Nine-Tails swallowed and digested me. With my last strength, I spread my chakra to find a champion to right my wrongs, just like Asura did, not knowing. A monk? Kawarama asked with doubt. He was pretty tall and had a light skin tone. He had a shaved head except for a long mohawk of black hair tied in a long ponytail that reached his lower back. He had prominent eye ridges without brows, a broad nose, and big black eyes. Asura said this because he had seen him when he and Indra were young. Butsuma and Tajima said at the same time. He was the one who hired us to find out information from a rival clan. Whoops, both of them said face palming. Before the first Shinobi War, I saw him kill Hashirama. A Senju member said. It's impossible. Ishiki Otsutsuki was there, not a monk. My great-great-grandmother Kaguya Otsutsuki's ex-husband Kushina said that it was shocking that a member of the Otsutsuki clan would separate Kaguya's descendants. And for what? Out of spite, when she just wanted to live in peace and not harvest anymore. Sure, she tried to kill Ishiki, but he was smart, but the mission was all that mattered to him. Hagoromo was a fool to give chakra away like free candy before he knew what would happen. Worst of all is that more Otsutsuki will come to destroy the planet. Because of this, Kaguya never wanted to spread chakra without thinking what Kushina said made Indra and Asura sad. I should have never been Ninchu's heir. Indra, you were right. There will never be peace. Asura told Indra, who was hugging him, that his brother was right. No, I'm the one who should feel bad. I was jealous of how trustworthy and charismatic you were, and I had to give up my own dreams to protect you, brother. You taught me that peace is possible, but that it can't last without power. Indra said this, admitting he was wrong. You want to know what's funny, don't you? Kushina laughed a little and looked over to see that Indra and Asura were looking at him in a confused way. Kushina said to the dead members, it's funny that Hagoromo thought the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan were one. If he really thought that, then he had a lot going on in that so-called brain of his. Let me tell you something that no one else knows, Kushina said. Did Hagoromo ever think about how Indra felt about Asura being his heir? And did he ever stop to think about what might happen? Asura just frowned or shook his head when Kushina asked him. Because of him, the Senju and Uchiha have always been fighting, killing many innocent children and families, she said, making Indra and Asura's eyes widen. Kushina said, the Senju wanted to kill the Uchiha so that Indra's way of peace could never be reached. And the Uchiha tried to kill the Senju so that Asura's way of peace could never be reached. Now, let me tell you something about one of Grandpa's other fucking descendants, she said, her eyes now red with anger, making them narrow theirs. One of his descendants, Hashirama Senju, is what I would call a daddy's boy. Because by the time Hashirama could understand, his father Butsuma had already convinced him that only the Senju should rule the world, he said, making Asura angry. But Kushina didn't pay much attention to it. She said, now, let me tell you what happened because of that. Think of it as a story. They were now listening to every word she said, even though Butsuma's wife was trying to kill him with her look. One day, Hashirama was walking through a river when he saw a boy his age already there skipping stones on the water. When Hashirama saw the boy's midnight hair, he knew right away that the boy was Madara Uchiha, Mikoto's great-great-grandfather. She paused. When he saw that the kid was a Uchiha, he started to think of ways to control him, she said, looking around to see if anyone was still listening. Thank goodness it would have worked if Madara didn't know what was going on. He had noticed the lies in Hashirama's words and played along to see where it was going, only to find out he was being used. She paused. Later, they became enemies because they both joined the war between the Senju and the Uchiha. Hashirama found out he had wood style, and Madara and his brother Izuna Uchiha woke up the Manjikaiu Sharingan after seeing their father die while killing Butsuma. On the battlefield, they used the new powers they had just learned to use against each other. Madara's brother eventually died from the wound caused by Hashirama's brother Tabarama Senju, who was threatened to do it. Izuna knew that Madara's eyes were going blind, so before he died, he gave Madara his eyes, eventually leading Madara to awaken eternal Manjikaiu Sharingan. She spoke. Kushina said, in the end, Madara and Hashirama made a village because Madara knew he couldn't beat Hashirama, so he gave up. Madara knew he couldn't beat Hashirama, but that didn't mean he couldn't think of ways to kill Hashirama. When Hashirama was chosen as Hokage, Konoha's leader, Madara became worried about the future of the Uchiha because he thought this was just the beginning of the Senju's plan. He tried to get his own clan to leave the village, but no one would listen. Madara decided to leave the village. He came back with the nine-tailed demon fox, which thought he was Indra because of the hatred he had for him before. The nine tails can sense emotions and were drawn to Indra's chakra, so Madara took control of the fox to fight Hashirama. They fought until they were too tired to keep going, and the Valley of the End was made from all the dead bodies. In the end, Hashirama killed Madara. Madara was so tired that he couldn't even keep his Sharingan on. But Madara had thought ahead. He set up an Izanagi to go off after he died. This would change reality and bring him back to life in exchange for the sight in his right eye. He left a copy of himself in place of his real body, and went into hiding with a special prize from his fight with Hashirama, a mouthful of Hashirama's flesh that he put into his wounds. Not until decades later, when Madara was getting close to the end of his natural life, did the cells do anything to wake up the Rinnegan Kushina finished. The first person to speak was Indra. During the years I spent fighting Asura, all I could think about was whether or not my father loved me. When he chose Asura to carry on his teachings, and when our mother died, I became angry and attacked him. But after years of thinking about it, and with the help of my wife, my mind became more stable. So I forgive you, brother Indra. Asura spoke next. I already forgave you, Indra. I knew it might cause some tension between us, but I didn't think it would be too much, he said as all of the members who had died started to glow gold. As Mikoto says goodbye to her parents and siblings for the last time, she smiles with her Tomoed Rinnegan to remember them. Fugaku told her to find true happiness as he waved her off. Indra and Asura told them, Kushina and Mikoto promised to get revenge for our clans, and no matter how you do it, we will always be proud of you. Batsuma told his wife and other sons, if you find Hashirama and Tabarama, give them hell for what they've done and make them suffer for their crimes. As he left, Tajima said, if you find Madara, help him find real happiness, even if you have to change his gender, and tell him I'm sorry. Mikoto and Kushina said goodbye as they left Limbo, glowing green as they did so. Temple of the Tail Beasts. As Kushina and Mikoto woke up on the floor, the rest of the group was waiting for them because they thought they had gone ahead. What were you doing? Yujiro asked. Mikoto's answer, which shocked Matatabi, was that they were having a family reunion with Matatabi's stepbrothers and their clan. At least they can get out of Limbo now, and they wished us well, Kushina said. Delta asked Yujiro, so where is he hiding now? As he showed them a room where B is meditating. Killer B has been Juki Otsutsuki's Jinchuriki since he was 5 years old. He has the 8 tails Ushioni seal on his right arm, which is part of the iron armor. The tailed beast with 25% of the 10 tails and Kaguya's chakra is second only to Katsumi in power. He can make ink, stretch with his tentacles, absorb nature energy like his kin, and heal less quickly than Katsumi's. Like Katsumi, he can make multiple tailed beast bombs and fire them like beams. He can also fight even after being hurt by his own tailed beast bombs. He knows Storm style and Typhoon style, which he is smart and clever like his sister Katsumi and Kokuo. B knew he had done something wrong when he met Minato the Yellow Flash and saw him use Juki's power. At that moment, he realized that he had cursed that man's children without even knowing it. Juki scolded B while B was worried about something else. This is what happens when you show my powers to a Konoha nin, especially a Senju spawn like B. I would be mad that I left because those women kicked our asses because we stole their land from their ancestors. And they kicked your asses too, B said. B said as Juki threw him out of his snout, I remember when you told me about the time they used your tentacles. We swore never to tell anyone about that, Juki told B, letting out killer intent. Okay, I'm sorry about that, Ado, B told Juki. It's just that I is still stealing bloodlines from other villages like his dad did. I thought he would change when he became the Raikage, but he's still the same man doing the same things over and over again. I hate him, Juki, especially when he broke that little girl's dream of becoming Raikage by raping her in front of us, and I never did those things. Since that day, I've learned what it means to be a. Well, what can you do, since if you kill yourself to free me, I will make another Jinchuriki 8 years before I come back. And I can tell you that being split up is painful enough, Juki said. B told Juki, to be honest with you, I wanted to be a full-time rapper, not a ninja. This surprised Juki. It was pressure from my friends, especially since I am your current Jinchuriki, that made me become a shinobi, B said. I never even knew, since the 9 tails are the ones who are good at that, Juki said. B said, I wish I could go back in time and change it. But Juki could feel chakra coming from many different people. In her Red Death persona, Kushina said, "We found you." V asked, "How did you find me if I shut down my chakra?" Emotions sensing, Kushina said, "Because I could feel your sadness and regret, which is a lot more useful than sensing chakra." Juki asked, "How did you learn that if Nine Tails would never teach you that?" "Katsumi taught us while we were training," Kushina told Juki. V asked, "Who is this Katsumi?" This surprised Juki, because Katsumi would never say her name so easily. Kushina said, "Since we're going to kill you by taking Juki from you, the Nine Tails is called Katsumi." V asked, "If you're going to kill me to get Juki, at least give me one last rap battle so I can finally rest in peace." They nodded, and he began to rap. Killer B rap. "Yo, say, ho, you know my name and how famous I am, so don't be stupid. 8 Tails, that's me, the rapping, Killer Bee, a tailed beast lives in my hide. Making beats and rhymes, and I'm making them live. That's what a Jinchuriki needs to survive battle after battle up here in the beehive. There are 4 fights coming up, and things might get rough. First, a jockey who talks a lot, Kushina Uzumaki. Her 9 Tails is a big part of her. From the start, she's a good opponent, but that doesn't mean she can't win. Win after win is how it works. When I'm done, son, you'll wish we'd never met. Awa yeah. Yo, hey, ho. You know where my power comes from, of course. No regrets from me, the one and only Killer Bee. Watch and learn, feel the burn, and testify. Say goodbye, butterfly, when I fight my guy. A hot-blooded fighter with his hair in a bowl, a fist full of passion and a kick full of soul, but I'll eat him up like a casserole. Yo, hey, ho, you know my power, make you cower, every hour 8 Tails, Killer Bee to the 3rd degree. The next fine prize is a girl with weird eyes. Mikoto Uchiha, I wouldn't want to be you. Dark fate drives her like a maniac. She has a powerful gaze, and her eyes are completely black. But if you bother the bee, he'll sting you back right away. Yo, hey, ho, you know about my swords, my awards, and how 8 sword style is hitting chords from the mountains to the fjords. Now that he is a 7 swordsman, he is very confident. His name is Kasama Hoshigaki. This shark says he has unlimited chakra. He kills people like it's a walk in the park. But we'll find out who's your patriarch. Yes, say, ho, always win with a smile, because I've got the groove. Knock you to the ground with a hard blow. Yeah, in my hide lives a tail beast. Step back and get ready to be scared, because it's hard to be a Jinchuriki when you're fighting and reciting weird rhymes. My defeated enemies do the dance of defeat, and we celebrate my win with these icy beats. Nothing will come between me and 8 Tails. It's always a win-win-win situation. Why HHH. You talk the talk, but you're going to lose to the demonic flame princess of the Talmud Rinnegan now, Mikoto said, flashing her Talmud Rinnegan, which scared Juki because those eyes are better than Hagoromo's basic Rinnegan because Mikoto had a microphone to start rapping. Venom by Eminem. Wow, Mikoto, I never thought you had it in you, Kushina said, impressed because that was a perfect rap. V stood there, knowing that his last request had been made, and waited for the extraction as he looked at Mikoto. V said, "Before I die with honor, take care of Juki for me, okay?" Mikoto saluted, and Kushina used her chakra chains to control B's chakra so the extraction wouldn't be painful. Juki came out of B's right arm as pure chakra, and he took on a physical form as they looked at B's body, which had a smile on it, and then they went outside to give him a proper burial. He was the first Jinchuriki I had to get to know, even when I wanted my freedom. He stood his ground and looked me right in the eyes as we fist bumped for the first time. He was a diamond in the rough from Kumo, so he goes to the Pure Lands to finally be with his biological parents and tells them that he befriended a tailed beast. Amen, Juki said as they burned B's body so he couldn't. Mikoto, can you take Juki and the others to Uzu while I do something else? Keishina asked her as they went into Mikoto's calmer rift toward Uzu. Kono Hagakure Hokage's tower. Minato, Mei, Onoki, and Rasa were there, too, since I and B were lightning shadow clones. Minato came back with soot on his face because he was playing with the merchandise when he threw it at Mabui and she blew up. A swirl appeared in the air as a limbless eye crawled on the floor. Minato told ANBU to take him to the hospital for surgery as a red-haired woman with a box of chocolate and vanilla cake came out of the swirl. Kushina sees Mei Terumi as she passionately kisses Mei on the lips and gives her a dick pic of Naruto as she was drooling over the size while the men in the room felt their masculinity drop. See you later, cousin, Kushina told Mei as she did a Yamatsu Hirasaka and flipped off the men as she left. Yuzashi Agakure. As Gilgamesh was the first one to wake up fully healed, she introduced herself to Black Sun. Gilgamesh said, I'm Gilgamesh, and I want to thank you for saving us. We came from the Dark Continent on a peace and trade treaty with Kumo, but those mongrels knocked us out and tried to turn us into breeding stock against our wills. No problem, and you don't need to worry about them anymore since we destroyed their village while Kushina went to leave a gift. Naruto said with a laugh as Gilgamesh kissed him on the cheek and Kushina came in with a smug grin on her face. That's my Sachai. Please give me a grandchild, Kushina said as Naruto stuttered. While Satsuki saw Akino with Mikoto, she narrowed her eyes on the strange girl because she couldn't feel any chakra on her. Mom, who's that? Satsuki asked. Satsuki, meet your older twin sister Akino Uchiha, Mikoto said as Satsuki stood there crying. I had a twin sister this whole time. And you never told me, Satsuki said. I didn't remember because someone put a memory block seal on me so I'd forget about her, Mikoto said. Then the past stays in the past, Satsuki said as she hugged Akino, who hugged her back. Akino was looking at Naruto as she licked her lips. Naruto was healing Hitomi Hyuga using his 6 paths yin-yang power to heal Hitomi's mind and body. Hanabi and Narumi were impressed that Naruto was able to do something that went beyond medical ninjutsu. Where am I? Hitomi asked when Hanabi saw her. Hanabi asked her, Mom, as she hugged her. Naruto smiled at the reunion. Then he and Narumi left so that the mother and daughter could spend time together. Really, Akino? I mean, wait a little before trying to seduce my man, Satsuki said, surprising Akino, who blushed. Hey, Naruto, we found Shisui's body near Wave, Isabu said as he showed Naruto a scroll with Shisui Uchiha's corpse. Great work, Isabu, Naruto told the tailed beast, who smiled. Now we need to send Narumi and Hanabi back to Konoha to tell their friends about the invasion and fake their deaths, Naruto said. Who will be the first to battle? That's easy. It's me against Gaia, and we're both itching for a rematch. Flare said as Gaia smiled and images of the Wood Madam and Shukaku as a chakra construct with red Susanoo armor appeared behind them as they shook hands. Yodo asked, what about Orochimaru then? Since he was still planning to kill Hiruzen. Don't worry about him. We need him alive and on our side because he is a scientist before he is a shinobi, and he is the only one with potential among the Sannin. As for Hashirama, we need his body sealed for something I have planned. Also, don't forget to get Sakura, Hinata, and Ino back from this reality, Naruto said with a sly grin as his green eyes glowed. Konoha Hospital. As they brought the Raikage to heal, they gave him metal parts to replace his limbs, since whoever did this wouldn't even let Yamato get close to Ai because the damage to him smells like something toxic, and Yamato would feel sick if they gave Ai wood limbs, which are more flexible for body movement. Whoever did this must have wanted revenge against the village, Minato said as Ai was trying to talk. It was the Red Death and the demonic flame princess of the Sharingan. They tore off my limbs and killed my ANBU without breaking a sweat. Worst of all, the Kushina was faster than my lightning cloak, and I had barely opened my eyes before she hit me and turned off my cloak with one kick to the head. I growled as everyone gasped that there were people faster than Minato's Hiraishin Kushina's improved version. Where is the Jinchuriki of 2 and 8 tails? Minato asked I. Ijito must have been killed, and B went to Turtle Island, said I. Let me ask the Toad Sage to send toads to investigate Turtle Island, Minato said as he tried to reverse summon himself but failed until Toad Sage Fukasaku showed up. Minato asked the current Toad Sage, Lord Fukasaku, may I kindly ask if you have any toads available to check out Turtle Island? The Toad Sage shook his head. You can't, former student, because the High Court has ordered a lockdown in all of the summon realms because the prophecy has been made public. The 2 Grand Sages of the Dragon Summons, Phoenix Summons, and even Kami will be there as judges, so all summons must drop and stop working with their summoners right away, Fukasaku said, shocking Minato since Arashi and Menma have already signed their contracts with their summoners. Oh, I forgot about something. Jiraiya, I'm so angry and disappointed in you for fucking my wife Shima that I want to hit you in the head, Fukasaku said to Jiraiya as he puffed out and everyone, including Minato and I, moved away from Jiraiya. Shinobis may kill, cheat, rape, and lie, but having sex with non-humanoid animals, even if they evolved from nature energy, is way out of line, even for the most perverted. Meanwhile in Uzu, Naruto's room. As our heroes woke up from their sleep after saving the 6 girls from Minato, they got used to living in Uzushiagakure, where they felt safer than anywhere else. Even Juki slowly made friends with the people there and became Mikoto's partner, starting to wear sunglasses like Killer Bee to honor him. Naruto saw Mew, Milk Tank, Celebi, Gardevoir, Mega Mawile, Mega Lopunny, Lucario, Arceus, Zoroark, Meloda, Serena, Tapu Lele, Tapu Fini, Pheromosa, Dark Magician Girl, Apprentice Illusion Magician, Gagaga Girl, Kiwi, Apple, Chocolate, and Lemon cuddled up with Naruto, Satsuki, Katsumi. The other girls don't mind that Naruto can make clones instantly with magic. Irene taught Naruto, Satsuki, Katsumi, the other tailed beasts, and other members of Black Sun that magic was better than chakra because Otsutsuki and chakra absorbers can't stop magic and not even wood style can stop it. Kaguya can be outside of Naruto at any time when she's not in the elemental nations, but when she saw the orgy, she possessed Satsuki to play with them, and she didn't mind at all. They took it as a challenge to see who could drain Naruto's balls the most, and it never went down, even with Katsumi's unlimited energy. To Naruto, that was one hell of a birthday present for an immortal 32-year-old man. It made him happy to have love in the hellish world, and he cried with happiness. His daughters, Narumi and Sarada, comforted him, and he hugged both of them. Even if he wasn't there for Sarada, he would kill anyone who hurts his family. At least Satsuki doesn't care much about killing Itachi because she read in Danzo's black book that he used the same poison he planted on Shisui's but in a smaller dose before nearly killing the clan as a fail-safe. Killing him is what he wants to do to make up for himself, but when Black Zetsu told them about Itachi being in the Akatsuki as Jiraiya's spy, the group already knew, since he constantly used the Sharingan to piss off Indra and draw Orochimaru's attention to the Sharingan. She wants to torture Itachi mentally and emotionally first, because death is only a moment, but misery lasts a lifetime. And she wants to ruin his reputation as a prodigy. I can't believe that having sex with summons made me feel alive, and they tried to dry me out, but I was still hard. Who knew those dark magician girls were so horny? Naruto said, thinking back to how he got Pokemon as summons and Satsuki got dual monsters as summons. Flashback, the Forest of Death. Before Team Otsutsuki met Orochimaru, they found a barrier. Inside that barrier, they found two summoning contracts. One said Pokemon, and the other said dual monsters. Naruto and Satsuki got the feeling that they should take the contracts, but they didn't do anything right away because they didn't want Minato and other power-hungry villagers to steal the contracts from them because only pure-hearted people can open and sign the contracts. In fact, the summons seem to know Naruto and Satsuki even though they have never met them before. Is all about your point of view, because good and evil are two sides of the same coin. Even though Naruto and Satsuki are cruel, they are still good people. Naruto sometimes acts like a pervert and wants to kill his former brother in Minato, and Satsuki still wants to kill Itachi, which is fair because he betrayed his family and family comes first. End of flashbacks. Inside Katsumi. Zero Tails is inside Katsumi until she thinks about having a body of its own after it turned Katsumi into a pseudo Ten Tails until she gets the Rin Sharingan to become a real Ten Tails. It was slithering around the mindscape looking at Katsumi's memories from the time they were a seedling of the Ten Tails until now. Most of the memories are of people trying to capture Katsumi for her powers, and the Mon, even though it feeds on negative emotions, it has standards because it never makes people feel anything, not even desperation, since it's not real emotions. It knew that when Hagoromo made them, most of them were sleeping except for Katsumi and the Zero Tails, who could feel emotions. It also knew that Katsumi and the Zero Tails were awake. It thought that having the most tails made her powerful, but as time went on, just like the Otsutsuki clan, her pride was her own downfall. The more it saw Katsumi's memories, the more focused it was when she was sealed inside Mito Uzumaki, because it had to go deeper since some of Katsumi's memories are blank. How come Mito never even left Konoha, and she couldn't seal Katsumi at the Valley of the End if she'd never been there? She had to give up her Uzumaki name because Konoha hates outsiders. Katsumi should have healed her, unless someone added wood chakra to the poison on purpose, but who would want Mito dead? Even I knew it was a trap to keep her on a leash, right Katsumi? Zero asked its sister, who was helping her unlock her suppressed memories and interacting with her inside her own mind. It's strange that no one noticed that Madara faked his death, like Black Zetsu told us. If a Uchiha can make good Jinjutsu like the Kurama clan, who's to say they can't rewrite their death with Izanagi and use another eye as a replacement? Katsumi asked. Or maybe someone knew that Madara used a delayed Izanagi the first time and didn't destroy the eyes. The question is, who would want to cause trouble and put the blame on him? Zero asked. Well, it couldn't be Tobirama, because he hated the Uchiha clan even more than I did. And that's saying something. Plus, he's dead, so we've got it covered if Orochimaru calls him and his sister-in-law, Katsumi said. I don't think so, Katsumi, because Tobirama invented Shadow Clones Jutsu before Madara left Konoha. This means that he faked his death when the Kinkaku squad confronted him during the first war, when you were still in Konoha. You were with Chomai until Taki sent Kakuzu to kill Hashirama and then sold him to avoid being with them, even though it was them who started the war. No, because I could feel it, and the Uzumaki are the ones who taught him that family is most important, unlike the Hyuga, who mostly rely on protecting their eyes. The Kaguya clan, and that cult about the Otsutsuki clan that Kaguya hates because it's infected with Ishiki, and the rest of her former clan, Zero said. It would be hard to find Ishiki because, like Black Zetsu, Otsutsuki can only be detected by emotions, Katsumi said. Zero told its sister, someone is taking in the nature energy of the elemental nation's ley lines in important places like the Valley of the End, Konoha Monument Mountain, and even where we were planted in the land of the ancestors. This is weird. What are ley lines? Zero, Katsumi asked. A ley line is one of a number of supposed alignments of ancient monuments and prehistoric sites in straight lines, which some people think show the paths of natural energy in the earth. Like you absorbing nature energy passively without losing your mind while sleeping, as nature energy is infinite as long as nature is present, and not absorbed by a ten-tails, but that knowledge had supposed to be lost as Otsutsuki are cruel but lazy, which is actually ironic. Shukaku told us that Suna monks locked him up, which let people make new Jinchuriki. The question is, how did Hashirama know where we were and how did he capture Matatabi, Son Goku, Kokuo, and Seiken, who can easily beat Wood style with their fire, lava, steam, and acid moves? Katsumi asked. Remember that it's the strength of the affinity that can help them overcome their weaknesses, and since Kokuo and Seiken are mostly pacifists, and you have emotions sensing to avoid people, but Madara, who you mistook for Indra, used his M's on you to mind control you against your will against Hashirama until he knocked you out for a week until you were sealed in Mito while Black Zetsu watched the fight for Kaguya, Zero said. There is something I wanted to ask you, Zero said as Katsumi listened. How did Kaguya actually free you from Naruto in the first place? When I tried to take your old chakra from Arashi and Menma, I felt another seal inside them that has fragments of the Shinigami, Zero said as Katsumi shivered. Tailed beasts are living masses of chakra, so death is an option for them. But the thought of fighting Naruto against their wills is unsettling to her, since they were both victims. Zero said, if Naruto was an only child, the Shinigami would have taken half of your power to make Naruto its own entity and seal it. If Naruto did it, you would really die because the Shinigami would have taken your living half, and the other could have been taken by the god of death himself. What was Kushina thinking when she told that jutsu to that Senju scum of Minato? There's a reason why Uzumaki never used that. It was a plan for Konoha to have full control over me, and the Uzumaki's secrets. They couldn't use Mito because she was married to Hashirama, so they used Mito's niece Kushina, and made Minato woo her to make her their weapon until Minato saw B, and Juki as Mito and Kushina only contained me. This is how the 8-style sealing style was made, because Minato was too stupid to call the Shinik. Yes, it is strange that the Shinigami would let Kaguya break Naruto's seal in the first place. By the way, thanks for talking to me since no one has ever done that before, Zero said, surprising Katsumi as Zero was wrapping itself in a tan cocoon inside Katsumi's mindscape. If you need to talk, just call me, okay? Katsumi asked it, and it nodded. At least you're starting to act like an older sister again. Katsumi, Zero said as Katsumi as she left her mindscape. Katsumi whispered the last part while Zero Tails was changing inside the cocoon. Konohagakure Stadium. It was time for the fight between Flare Haruno and Gaia Sabaku. Flare versus Gaia. Gaia started using her sand chains and Flare started using her wood chains. When the chains started to connect, they made sonic booms every time they did. Then they stopped. On the field, everyone can see that Flare has a lot of sand chains wrapped around her and sticking out of her, and Gaia has a lot of wood chains wrapped around her as well. When the referee tried to end the fight, Flare and Gaia wrapped their arms around his feet and slammed him into the wall. If anyone tries to break their match, they will be killed. While Kabuto used Temple of Nirvana Genjutsu, civilians and most Genins and Chunins were hurt. Suddenly, Orochimaru appeared and sent the first and second Hokage, Hashirama and Tobirama Senju, towards Hiruzen. Minato tried to use the Rasengan on Orochimaru with his right hand, but he was hit by a dust kunai from Kuretsuchi. Onoki asked his granddaughter, how did you do that? No Jinchuriki has ever done that in history. All she did was give him a Jougan glare. Kuretsuchi asked her grandfather, who says I'm a Jinchuriki, as he was thinking about how his granddaughter could still be alive without the tailed beast sealed inside her. At the same time, Kuretsuchi began beating Minato as she destroyed his kunais so he couldn't escape her wrath. Kuretsuchi yelled at Minato, "That's for killing my mother and father, you Senju scum," as he saw her put on a lava-style chakra cloak that looked more like a four-tailed monkeyrilla. Onoki was shocked and said, "Not even Roshi and Han have ever done that before." Naruto told Kuretsuchi through telepathy, "Remember Kuro, you didn't kill him. You just hurt him so much that he went into a coma." "Hi, Naruto-sensei." She thought back to when Minato tried to attack her through Hiraishin. She used her Jougan eyes to see exactly where he would appear, and she used her tails to knock him away. Kuretsuchi said in a low voice, "What's wrong with Yellow Flash? He can't be unpredictable anymore." She was looking for the most important part of Minato's chakra network, which was his stomach, as she punched him and knocked the wind out of him, which will last for weeks. As Orochimaru was about to release Hashirama and Tobirama, the former was destroyed by the truth-seeking bomb and the latter blew up on its own, as if someone knew about his plan. While Hiruzen was about to use the Reaper Death Seal on Orochimaru and time stopped. Who threw the truth-seeking bomb? It was the Sage of Six Paths, who was next to the Man of the Moon while Jiraiya was distracted. The Sage of Six Paths has the Rinnegan like Nagato did, and the Man of the Moon has an unknown Dojutsu. They were causing trouble while Arashi and Menma were focused on Gaia, and tried to use the Nine Tails chakra, but Flare stopped them. Sekura saw her do it as she knocked. While the rest of Black Sun was happening, they put Iame and her family, the Maru Corps, Anko, Mabuki, Yoshino, Kiku, Tsume, and Kuramaru, and Hana and her Ninken triplets into stasis storage scrolls and planted realistic fake bodies so that people would think they died during the chaos. At the same time, at Konoha Hospital, Hinata was still in the hospital when a Kumo nin tried to kidnap her. He didn't know that his village had been destroyed until he saw Hagoromo and Hemura. Hagoromo used the human path to kill the Kumo nin and get his memories. Hinata saw them, but since she knew who they were, she did nothing and let herself be taken. Hinata said, "Thank you, Naruto-kun," as she fell asleep, because she knew it was him. Hagoromo asked his brother, "Do you know what I love about this Hemura?" Hagoromo said, "You're using these forms to insult the real ones in front of their faces." Ino saw them and tried to scream, but Hemura put her to sleep. Hagoromo put them in storage stasis scrolls and told them, "Sleep, my sweethearts, because you will become one." Come back, Hiruzen and Orochimaru, as a ghostly figure with a demonic face that floats through the air. It is a lot bigger than the average person and has purple skin and long, shaggy, white hair from which two red horns stick out. The being is dressed in a large white kimono and is carrying a set of prayer beads. The tongue of a serpentine is very long and has sharp, jagged teeth. You can see a tanto in its mouth. When the Shinigami showed up, it saw soul wisps of Hashirama and Tobirama, which made it angry because those souls belong to clones. "These are fakes." The Shinigami snarled as it destroyed the fake souls with its tanto and stopped the jutsu. Everyone who was awakened was shocked to find out that the first two Hokages were fake the whole time. Hiruzen and Orochimaru both said, "What?" The Shinigami laughed at Hiruzen until it saw Orochimaru. "You will live for now, Sarutobi, and you will see your home village fall apart because of the one everyone hated. As I said, no one can control death itself. You are too valuable to die, Orochimaru, because you have been wronged so much in your life that you almost lost your way. I will let you live so you can find a new purpose," the Shinigami said as it covered its left arm in cursed seals and chanted as it stabbed its arm into Orochimaru's chest for a few minutes, taking the souls of the shinobis he used to change bodies. Orochimaru thought he was going to die, but if his parents saw what he has become, they would be ashamed that he is still alive. This is because his ambition to help people was twisted by a warhawk who wanted power, and turned him into an abomination when he lost the bonds he had made. All for nothing if you have all the power, as there wouldn't be anything to prove. He did the only thing that made sense. He told his shinobi to run away. Killing Hiruzen wouldn't help anything, since the village could just fall apart on its own. This mask is always suffocating, but it was the worst when the COVID-19 hit Earth, the Shinigami said to itself, until it sensed someone it had met years ago, and went to that place. In the meantime, Hagoromo and Hemura. Then, when Hagoromo and Hemura left the hospital to take Ino and Hinata, the Shinigami showed up. It was expecting fearful reactions, but Naruto and Satsuki bowed politely as they stopped changing and showed themselves to be Naruto and Satsuki, respectively. "Hello, Shinigami-sama," Naruto and Satsuki said as they bowed in front of the god of death. But Naruto Kaguya was scared on the inside. No need to bow, since you've met me before, the Shinigami said, which confused Naruto and Satsuki. It then took off its mask and robe to reveal a costume of a pretty woman with pale skin, long black hair, and green eyes. This is Hela Odinstadir, the real goddess of death, Hela told them. Acknowledge and Anna Heartfilia, we're finally going to see each other again. They both said, huh, because they had never been an Asura or an Indra, they had only ever had their chakra. Naruto asked the deity, who laughed, why are you here if Hiruzen called you and we thought you would take Hiruzen's soul and leave when the Reaper seal was finished? Yes, that's true. Usually, the user would have to do a technique to summon a piece of me, since I'm usually busy due to the increase in deaths in this reality since Hagoromo spread chakra. I have known Kaguya since she was born, as she is the black sheep of the Otsutsuki clan as she was the first one to question the clan's purpose. Hela shows Naruto and Satsuki different versions of themselves. From a very evil Naruto who wants to destroy everything blindly to a hero Naruto who only married a Hinata and had 2 kids. Even a male Satsuki with an older Sakura Haruno and a girl who looks exactly like Sarada but is older and wears glasses. Both of them came to the same conclusion. Most of them were unhappy, and a few of them had forgiven Obaido Uchiha and given him the nerve to cut his hair like the man who killed his parents, who would get the same haircut as the person who killed their parents. Minato had to seal an alternate version of Katsumi with a complicated seal that hadn't been tested because only in Uzumaki has the strong chakra to hold them. He should have used the seal to hold the fox instead of splitting it into yin and yang, and he should have put the good yin half on him to make friends with people and balance him out. But no, he had to call the Shinigami to finish sealing because the village was more important than his family. Even though he should have sealed the yang into Kushina so she could have lived to raise Naruto. At least Kaguya did Obaido a favor by killing him. While Satsuki hated most of the male versions of herself who had friends in the beginning but turned their backs on them to kill Itachi, she still wants to kill him. However, they needed help because they couldn't do it alone. But they didn't want to ask for it. They had their own clan scrolls and Naruto to understand them best, but like her Itachi, they lied to them and messed with their minds with Tsukuyomi. But for some, it happened twice, and Orochimaru marked them and twisted their minds even more. Even Obaido did it all the way to adulthood and never even raised his daughter with the excuse of redemption, and the Otsutsuki clan wanting to destroy the world for a piece of fruit. Naruto and Satsuki were both thinking about what they had seen. She asked herself, is that what would have happened to me if my mom hadn't pushed me to befriend Naruto in the first place? Even though he's Hokage, he still puts the pathetic village first, which has hated him and wanted him dead since he was born. All because some jerk who got lost because he had a crush on a girl, and didn't get help but instead sacrificed himself, Naruto said in a dark voice. The only thing we're doing is destroying the system that started all this, and anyone who gets in our way will die. Those who don't can try to pick up the pieces, whether they keep killing each other or try to make peace, it's their choice. But we're not going to give any of them the satisfaction of having our attention on them. Once the shinobi system is gone, we'll be gone. We'll be done with the elemental nations and the idiots who live here. Hela said, you could also thank me for helping Aisabu bring Rin back to life by giving him a little boost. Like you too, she has potential that shouldn't be wasted. And you deserve her love, Naruto-kun. Hela blushed because this was the first time a true deity had praised him. Naruto asked as she nodded, was that you? Yes, she was too young to die in this cruel world that some would call hell. But Naruto and Satsuki, your life is what you make of it. Peace under an illusion is not real peace. It's only meaningful if the real world manages to achieve it. Even I refuse to believe in a world of illusions. I'd rather die fighting the harsh reality through pain and suffering to achieve peace than rely on and live in fiction and a world that doesn't exist. Inside Naruto, Kaguya was listening to Hela and thinking about her life before she met Naruto and Satsuki and before she came to this planet. She was called the Rabbit Goddess because her horns looked like rabbit ears. She stopped the Endless War era when she saw humans killing each other, but before that she was just Kaguya Otsutsuki, one of the princesses of the Otsutsuki clan, who lived on a different dimension that lower beings couldn't understand. Kaguya was never evil, despite what most people think. It wasn't easy, but they were able to do it. But what they found out afterward was even worse than they had thought. The Otsutsuki clan is made up of immortal beings from a higher level universe. They are one of the hardest beings to kill and were born with a lot of power. Because of their natural abilities, they were known as one of the strongest things in the universe. They had many kinds of powers that came from their bloodlines. When needed, they could give all their power and knowledge to another clan member. They could put a curse mark on someone so that when that person died, the cursed person would take over one of the bodies and come back to life. They were like parasites of the universe, especially because the clan took life force from different planets in a huge number of universes without thinking about what would happen. Otsutsuki clan members moved in pairs with 10 tails. To keep them from rebelling, they had to erase their memories, and after the 10 tails ate the weaker Otsutsuki, they would plant the 10 tails on the planet. The 10 tails were a seed that turned into the divine tree and gave the Otsutsuki clan member a lot of power and skills. The weaker Otsutsuki member would come back to life through a vessel, and they would enjoy the harvest while the planet was destroyed as its life force was drained. The 10 tails can't grow properly without such a strong source of food, so an Otsutsuki had to feed them. Later, the roots would continue to feed on the life force of the planet, and the people who died in battle. Kaguya was the weakest of the group. She should have died for her partner, as she always did, but she was sick of seeing this happen. She was tired of seeing innocent people die. Yes, she thought of them as people, not ants. It broke her heart, and she betrayed her own clan and her partner, but she did so because everywhere she went with Ishiki, people stared at them and almost killed them for what they look like at first glance. So, she used her all-killing ash bones to take away Ishiki's immortality and destroy his lower half. This way, the 10 tails could feed the Otsutsuki at least part of a body before planting it on the planet. But through the bond, she made sure it wouldn't eat the world. Kaguya really dislikes the fact that her former clan used to pick chakra fruits and turn them into chakra pills so they could get stronger and live longer, even though they were already immortal. To sum it up, she betrayed the clan because they were too young to get what they wanted without training and too cruel to let the weak live and only the strong die, which would only make other creatures hate them. Outside, they calmed down when Hela told them that even if they saw different versions of themselves, their goals are still the same because Kaguya gave them the power to make their own decisions. She did this by touching Naruto's stomach, where his old seal was. Hela told Kaguya, "Don't worry, my friend, you'll be free someday. Just be patient. This may be goodbye, but Naruto and Satsuki Otsutsuki, we will see you again," Hela said as she kissed Naruto passionately on the lips and waved at them as she left. "Well, that was something," Naruto said, not sure what to think while Satsuki was talking. Minato's thoughts. Hela visits Minato in his real form while he is in a coma. Hela said, "We meet again, Minato Senju," using his name. She may be cruel, but she wouldn't curse a child and then ignore it, especially Naruto-kun, who has always been her champion. She has seen a few people really die, some good, some truly evil, some gray, and a few become gods. She has also seen some people live to the end of their natural lives and be happy. Minato asked her, "Who are you?" She rolled her eyes and put out her arm to put on her Shinigami mask. Minato jumped because he knew her, so she changed her face back. "Really, Minato, don't you remember me as the one who called me all those years ago to seal the 9 tails on your children and ignored my Naruto-kun? Not everything is set in stone, Minato, unless you want to be turned into stone," Hela said as she snapped her fingers as Minato was slowly turning into stone and she could feel his fears and a wet spot between his legs. "The only reason I left you alive, Minato, was to make me laugh. Remember that I am deaf, and I can turn you into dirt and still not take your soul. So when you wake up, please do your best to make me laugh," Hela said in a demonic voice as she laughed and turned Minato back to normal. He said to himself in his mindscape, "I'm so screwed." Old Senju hideout. The Senju clan used to hide in a large forest on top of a small hill where there were death trees before they started Konoha. In the basement of the hideout, there was a young man in a stasis pod surrounded by wires. When the pod opened, it showed a fair-skinned man with silver, shaggy hair and dark red eyes. He was wearing a simple blue shirt kimono with mesh armor underneath, and a pale yellow sash to tie it all together. He wore blue pants and what looked like a bracelet on his left hand. "I don't know who destroyed the clone I made to fake my death while I was in stasis. If it was Ishiki, I should have thanked him when I asked him for my brother Hashirama to be his new vessel with me telling everyone that he died of natural causes. Those stupid villagers would believe anything a cage says because they have to be completely loyal to a cage only because the daimyos need our services." Tobirama laughed hysterically when he saw that his plan to get the legendary Rinnegan from that stupid sage of 6 paths worked. He made wood, lava, steam, storms, ice, and even 5 truth-seeking balls appear out of thin air. Tobirama said, "Finally, I have what I wanted for my real plans," as he left his old home after blowing it up while smoking a cigar.
I will continue this series in next part. Till then, we weeb offline.